Sometimes you are the leak. Sometimes you are it. Sometimes we have self-inflation, and sometimes it is because of your deflation of things going on. Most of the time, we've been hearing about what's going on with the social media algorithm. But lately, your money algorithm has probably been a little bit tainted. You've been getting headlines, you've been getting information, you've been getting social media content and all this stuff. And it's making you think that it is probably a reality that your money is not adding up like it used to. And the math is not mathing. The dollar is weak like the SWV. But one of the things that I usually tell people to do when it comes to their money algorithm is to start with understanding your foundation. So if you ever felt like you've been paid and it disappears quicker than you think, you're not alone. We've seen headlines showing people that, hey, the math is not mathing. And especially in this economy where bills, inflation, unexpected expenses, the American dream costs $5 million right now. And you're probably like, baby, I barely got $5. And I remember my first bonus at work eons ago. I was excited, but by the end of that month, it was gone. But the thing around it is that having more money is not always the magic fix. What's the magic fix is the foundation that you set for the funds that you get. And the real game changer is learning how to handle that. Like I said, the money that you already have. So think of your money like you going to the gym, you're going to Crunch, you're going to Planet Fitness, but you just don't go out you don't go once a month, or you just don't get that subscription, but don't really see no position in the gym. You don't magically get fit, but you have to train in certain areas, build discipline, look at your numbers or your data, like your weight or whatever, or your personal best when it comes to training. And you have to determine what's going to work for you. And you have to gradually strengthen the whole system. Your wallet works just same way. But today we're going to be talking about a post that I made over on social media, talking about 5 key money days without the month that can actually shift how your money stacks within your wallet. And the thing is that even if you make more money, I want you to take these foundational days to grow with your money, to build your money management. So you have, whenever you do get more money to manage, you're able to keep it a little bit longer, because we already know sometimes more money means more problems, but more money actually will mean that you need to have a better money management system. So why not start where you are? And this is what this video was going to be about. A quick question I have for you is, how do you feel when you're looking at your finances right now? I know we've been seeing about the CPI, and I always tell you to look at your personal CPI. So what are you feeling when it comes to your savings, when it comes to your budget, when it comes to your earning power, when it comes to your goals? How are you feeling about those 4 areas? What are your Mount Rushmore of your wallet saying? Is it saying that, hey, the math is not mathing, as I love to say? Or is it saying, let's get a little tough around here, which it could be multiple things at the same time. So let's get into it. I'm Nadia. I am a financial planner as well as an educator. I help you understand their wallet while they build their wealth. But the thing that I have been very critical about is talking about the basics when it comes to your wealth, your wallet, as well as your wellness. And in this video, I really want you to start seeing how you can treat what money you have now and building a money management system. And these 5 days that we're going to walk through, it's going to show you how to manage the money that you have now. Because I remember seeing a video that I did a while ago where a girl said that she barely had $5 after payday. Listen, you can still make moves with your money if you have $5, $10, $20, but you have to figure out how to pencil in those days within your calendar. And then you probably like me, if it's not on the calendar, it's not happening. So when it's like that, how is your math going to math? How are you going to be able to track your goals? How are you going to be able to take what's on that vision board and see it in the reality and the value of your own personal data or your own personal dollar? And that's the thing that I want to dive into, not only these key 5 days that I talked about over on Instagram a while ago or TikTok or wherever you've seen it, but to show you, give you a little bit more tactical context on that content on how to make your money make sense, regardless of what goes on with this unprecedentedness in one take. So let's get into it. But don't forget to go back to that question I asked you, is about how do you feel about your Mount Rushmore of your funds, your budget? How are you feeling about it? How are you feeling about your spending? How are you feeling about your savings? How are you feeling about your money goals? Because those things are going to help build this whole conversation that we're getting ready to shift into going through the rest of this year, going through whatever year you're viewing this, because no matter if you're viewing this in 2025 or 2027 or 2030 or 2040, we don't know how long on because the rapture, clearly we ain't get raptured. So no matter whenever you're viewing this, that you can take these 5 days to add a foundation to your funds to make your money run better as you build your more. Let's get into it. So the first day that we're going to talk about, my hands look a little big on this, is your money GPS day. A while ago, I had a video over on YouTube talking about your GPS, which is your goals, position, and how you scale. So this day right here is about setting your budget and making sure it aligns with your goals. And I know you're probably like, have you seen my budget? Have you seen my paycheck? Have you seen how this inflation? I get it. But the thing is that sometimes you need to look into see what are your goals? How are you going to get there? Even if it's bit by bit or not as fast as you would like, but then align to it. Why this actually matters to you in your wallet is because I used to make budgets based upon wishful thinking. Like, I wish I had $500 for groceries. I wish I had whatever. It was no foundation. It had no like real formula to it. It was just off of vibes versus the value of how much my life costs. And I would throw numbers together and I would hope for the best, just cross my fingers. But then I came to actually start mapping my money by what my paycheck says, the pace in which I can do things, and finding an actual formula that fits my funds. Because oftentimes you hear about 50, 30, 20, 70, 20, 20, 10, or what happened, or even zero-based budgeting, but you're probably looking at your numbers and like, his math is not mathing. So the action step to build upon that day was for you to list out your income and expenses. So even if you're starting, but if you're coming back to doing this example, I want these 5 days to become, leg day is this day, our day is this day. We're going back to the gym. We talking about the gym. I need to go to the gym after I film this, but here, this is what I mean. I want you to wait. This sounds a lot like audit your wallet, because it is. The thing about it is that whenever you take a day within that month to focus on where you are when it comes to your money, you're able to say, hey, I know that my income for this month is only going to be this whatever, especially if you're making on the hour and your hours can fluctuate and go up and down. Or even if you're saying based on, hey, I know 80 hours a week, this is what I'm going to be. But I want you to look at your income and look at your bills and other reoccurring expenses. The reason why is because when you know what comes and pulls at that paycheck, you'll be able to position it a little bit better, regardless if you might need more money to manage. I still want you to understand that. And then another thing within your money GPS day is that I want you to understand previously, or even what's going on currently with your money. What are your spending reflect? How are you feeling? Are you like, I deserve a little treat because the news, who needs this? Like, who needs haunted houses when you have the news? And I'm sure you're feeling that way. And who's not to say that you're feeling any kind of way, because the amount of people losing their jobs right now is scary. And I talked about that within my emergency fund guide and plan guide. Go ahead, check it out. It's within the wallet below. And that's what I want you to do, is for you to see what are your spending that you usually do, what is tracked and what is tacky. Then I want you to determine what are your prioritizations, and if those spending habits that you are doing, do it reflect your goals? Does it reflect the position that you're in and the way that you want to scale? The reason why is because without a map, your money can wander without a purpose. And if you've been following me on Threads, you know this is a saying that I have been saying. You can't measure what you don't track. So if you set a budget, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. If you set a budget, but you don't check in with it, that's like dating somebody but don't check in with them. Men do a little bit better than that. Some women too, but still, it's like that you're dating your money. If you don't check in with your money is going to feel neglected and get all out of whack. So that's the way that you set your foundation, is doing this GPS day every month to say, hey, at the top of the year, or at the top of me getting my shit in gear, these were my goals. How am I layering and building into that month in and month out? Like Brittany Gardner say, brick by brick. How are you measuring it? Seriously. And then I want you to pick each month one category to see what is off track. You go look at what you were estimating for your budget that month, and you determine what is off track. And then figure out your why to figure out how to get back in track. That's the thing, is that I want us to not only just make budgets and because it's cute and it's trending on social media, but I want you to understand, how does your budget actually match your goals? How does your budget align or annoy you when it comes to your money? Because if your budget and your expenses and things going in and out either annoys you but doesn't align you, you might have to get a realignment. As you can tell, I'm a car girl, courtesy of my dad. That's the thing, is that whenever you determine do you need to get realigned, you might have to notice that, hey, I know that during this time of year, it's getting ready to be the holidays, that my holiday spending or my shopping is going to get a little bit out of whack. How am I going to counteract that? That is what we're going to do when it comes to your money GPS day. And I'm sorry, right now, it's September that I'm filming this. I'm putting it out in October. But these couple of months, and regardless of what's going on in the administration, your own personal administration needs to be tapped in when it comes to your money. The reason why is because we have the holidays. We have the beginning of the year. We have inflation. We're still inflating. We have different things pulling at us this time of year. And it's going to be like that for a while. So if you do not have a money GPS day, that is going to allow you to know if your funds are going into disarray. Let's go into day number 2, pulse day. Pulse day is something that I came up with, that you have to know the pulse of your paper. That's like vintage me talking about money. The reason why I want you to think of it is like your financial checkup. If you already have a primary care physician, you know that at least once a year you need to check in with your money. And you remember at the top of the first thing that we talked about is that you need to have a GPS day. The pulse day is for you to literally go after you done set your budget, after you done did all the things and set everything and make sure your automations and your auto transfers are set. You need to do it's like an admin day. Let's just call your pulse day the admin day. It's to keep seeing if your money is running healthy. And it's if you're a business owner or whatever, or if you're at work, you have to have a project management. This is like the day that you check in to see what's my risk, how am I aligning with it. Do I have what's my milestones? What are the things that I'm doing right? And what are my things I'm not doing so well? So you already would know that whenever bills come out, certain stuff is due on the 8th. Certain stuff is due on the 15th. Certain stuff is due on whatever. But how does those days line up when it comes to your paycheck? Something might throw you a loop because the statement date or the cycle might go a little bit another day too long. Then it might be outside of your window when it comes to your paycheck. So things like that, checking to see if your due dates for bills. Yes, you can have stuff on auto pay, but I still want you to manage your money. Then another thing is to check your auto transfers. If you're automatically transferring money into a high yield savings account, into a regular savings account, into your brokerage account, into your IRA, all the things that happens with your money, you need to check and make sure it's going like it's supposed to, is doing what it's supposed to. And also to take it a step further, if you have a high yield savings account, money market account, anything that has interest bearing on it, you need to make sure if you're saving and it's supposed to be 4%, 3%, that is being applied to your money. We saw the lawsuit that Capital One had not too long ago, showing that people's dough wasn't adding up because the APY wasn't applying how it was supposed to. Then I want you to go and be like me and set your calendar to have pay dates in there. Even if you're using budgeting apps, I've been recommending Monarch lately. I've been recommending Origin. What was that? T-Money, Rocket Money, all the monies. If you're setting it in that app, I still want you to use the freest app that you have, your calendar, to make sure that you're tapping in when it comes to when things happen, when it comes to your money. I remember when I missed a payment date one time. Let me tell you about it. So a while ago, before I became the person I am now, let's just say 24, 25, that I missed an automated payment. I think that's when automated payment was starting to become a thing. And it cost me $50. Why? Because of the dreaded late fee. Happenstance. Let me say this. If you have a credit card that you're late for and you've been in good graces and that's that one payment that you missed, call and tell them, hey, I've been good to you. We got a good thing going, boo. Could we check to see what we can do? And can you just forgive me? Sorry for missing this money for you. Okay. I was trying to make it rhyme, but I couldn't. But the thing around is that if you are late one time out of the many that you've been good, call and ask them, can you forgive me and waive that fee? But that $50 really put a wreck in the rest of my budget for the month coming in. That's my oversight taught me the power of not only consistency, but also understanding and tapping in when it comes to your coins. A few minutes now. now can prevent a biggest ass problem later, like stretching before a workout. This is something that I need to get better at doing, is stretching before I work out, stretching before I do anything else, because I'm an autoimmune girl. I have to stretch this body a little bit more. So here's an extra step for you. I want you to set 5 to 15 minutes out of the month. Bruh, you spend that strolling through TikTok or whoever. You could take 5 or 10 minutes to do these things. And this is the thing that I am very critical about, is that all of these days, for the most part, except for 2, you can do within 10 to 15 minutes. Heck, it takes you 10 to 15 minutes to open up a high yield savings account and start saving more money than your regular savings account. I wish people understood that. But anyway, I want you to take 10 to 15 minutes, set a timer, and then knock out all of your financial admin tasks. Quick wins will give you a peace of mind as well as a piece to your wallet. And the question that I have for you on this day is that what are small tasks that are slipping through the cracks? For some, it is checking to make sure things are being paid, because I've seen a lot of people that had auto pay and the auto pay didn't pay on time, and then it was late. You didn't catch it. Another thing that people love to do is to have free trials and then forget to cancel it before it ends, and then you get charged, and then you happen to wonder what happens to your money. So what are small tasks that you're doing within your own personal money right now that is helping that's making money slip through the cracks? I know we love to talk about money leaks, but sometimes you are the leak. Sometimes you are it. Sometimes we have self-inflation, and sometimes it is because of your deflation of things going on. So that's what I want you to remember when it comes to day number 2. Now, this is a critical day that I want people to do, is a money review day. So you remember we had this thing saying you don't measure what you don't track. So you set your budget. After you set your budget, that every 2 weeks, I want you to go through that time, and you probably heard it called money dates. I want you to go through that time and saying, okay, against my budget, here's how I estimate my bills was going to cost. If the things going that way, and then if I'm going to say I only automate myself to spend this much on groceries, this much on shopping, this much on eating out, am I aligning to that? The reason why I want to add it in is because I want you to stop, check your budget, and then determine if I need to pull back or if I need to I can punch it forward. This is more so geared towards your spending, more so than anything else, because your budget is already set when it comes to bills. But I want you to track your blowing. You know that you BMF. I want you to track it a little bit better, so you can adjust things in real time. If you know it, okay, I know I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna buy this or whatever, and I actually overspent what I want to. Where am I going to pull the rest of my money so I don't go into the red? This is some things I want you to keep in mind when it comes to your money review or your money date, at least twice a month. And here's why. Life happens. Life is not life's. Things come up overnight. And bills change, income change. You might find yourself unemployed, and it's keeping it funky. Your goals change. Reviewing regularly allows you to make sure that your budgeting is working with you, not against you. Are you against it? Just keeping it in a bucket. But a thing that I want you to do is for you to open up your budget and highlight one key category each month that you want to make sure that you stay focused on. For some people, it could be shopping. Some people could be grocery shopping, because food is going up. But you also love to splurge. We talked about this in the last video. And then I want you to make sure to see where you spending and where did you underspend, and adjust immediately. Comparison to the money GPS day and the admin day, this day will allow you to adjust your spending. This is more geared towards your spending than the whole strategy of your money. So that's what I want you to focus on. It teaches you awareness as well as control. And I love to tell you how you look at your insights will allow you to know how you need to implement your money better. Your insights is your budget as well as your bank accounts and your credit card statements, or your credit cards, like pulling up the app and seeing. So the thing is, though, when it comes to your budget, I want you to have the budget that you have for the month, but also having what's going on within key categories. And you might need a color quote where is going to be the potential money leaks, and watch those closely. Green could be on track. Red, we know what red gonna be, unless you the red. Anyway, it's gonna be over. Visual cues will allow you to make adjustments, and also you can put into your handy dandy calendar to let you know, hey, I'm probably gonna overspend this month. And the thing that I called out in the last video is that if you happen to overspend, where is that other money going to come from? That is something that is very critical for you to understand. Okay, the money SOP of your algorithm is like, okay, if this happens, then what? If I'm noticing that I overspent on groceries, that's going to take me to decrease my eating out. That I know. So let's go into day number 4. So day number 4 is something that I would really love to talk about. I have a blog post talking about books that I love. Obviously, I have a YouTube channel, and I talk about it. I educate people on their funds day in and day out. But the day number 4 that I want you to pay attention to is this thing that I love to say. Learners are earners. The way that you learn will depict how you earn. Meaning, if you learn more about your money, you're better able to be financial literate. Here's the thing. A lot of people love to say about, financial literacy. How do you learn to be able to be literate? You educate yourself. So you take days like this, at least one day a month. Me, it's almost every day on day. But at least one day a month to either read something, whether it's a book, a month, rather it's an article, a month, rather it's a YouTube, a month, or you can listen to podcasts. So I'm going to probably drop some podcasts that I love to listen to when it comes to personal finance beyond my channel, some other channels that I think is good when it comes to personal finance beyond my social media channel, some other things that are good. And then, I already have I already have the blog post that talks about the books in my Amazon list that lists out all the books that I would recommend to people. The thing is, though, your money muscle grows stronger when your mind does too. Whenever you read something or to learn something about a certain thing, you're able to articulate and connect to it. For me, I thought that my biggest feat was me buying a share of Amazon stock because it was a couple $1,000s back then, and that wasn't no chump change. It's hard to grow 1,000, but it's easy to blow 1,000. But the thing is, though, when I learned about ETFs, that allowed me to say, yeah, I was able to buy a share of Amazon stock, but I at least could have had a couple of pieces of Amazon and saw it grow over time because I had an ETF that allowed me to divide the pie into other companies that were doing well based upon my research. So you see how that goes? Is that you can spend 20 to 30 minutes. I told you it was going to be a couple in here that's a little bit longer than 10 to 15. And you can read a book, you can listen to a podcast, you can watch videos that sharpen your money game, and even smaller learning sessions. If you can't do 30 minutes, think of it like meditation. If you can't meditate for 30 minutes or an hour, how long can you do it for? And what can you do in what capacity? That's the thing, is that small learning sessions can change how you save, how you invest, and how you negotiate your income. Negotiate your income. Meaning when you go for another job, or you having a bonus time, or you getting an increase or anything like that, you need to be able to negotiate. Hell, you need to be able to negotiate your severance just in case. Here's an example. A client that I had one time just started reading 15 minutes a day. I gave him a couple books to look to, some articles and some platforms to look to and read. And that client started asking me different questions when we started to talk. They'll bring up even content that I post, like, I remember you posted about this right here. So how does that apply to me? Oftentimes when you're looking on your algorithm on social media or just looking on Google for random stuff, it learns you and builds your algorithm. So that's the same way that your wallet is going to do. It's going to change your money algorithm. And the client started to listen to what I was saying and asking, how can I apply that to my algorithm? How can I apply that to my wallet? How can I apply that to my budget? How can I apply that to da 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 da? So it was just not only watching me, which I love, but it's of how you take what you watch to actually build your wallet. And that's the key thing when it comes to Learners or Earners Day or learning days, is because when you're able to watch something and implement it right then, that is what's going to help sharpen how your money grows over time. Just saying, Warren Buffett used to read books on a day. So how we see how that compounded over into his interest of his money. And that's the thing I want you to be able to do, is because they asked a question from them what they saw on my social media, and that helped us save $200 on a certain bill. Or it was $200 on a certain bill because it was something that they had that they didn't disclose to me. They needed to disclose that. They didn't disclose it. So therefore, we were able to tweak and make some things happen, which helped save them $200 a month. Knowledge compounds like money. And here's the active stuff I want you to do on the month to month when it comes to this learning day, is to pick one resource a week and apply that to learn that one thing immediately. Oftentimes we hit save, we save this, we screenshot, whatever. How often do you do it? And one thing that I have been charging myself to do is if I'm seeing something or somebody is asking, and I'm like, oh, that's be a good question. How quick am I implementing off of that? Oftentimes, reward your speed is rewarded, but it's also not only just the speed of you doing something, but setting the intention, implementing it, and then seeing the increase is what's going to really happen when it comes to your compound interest on learning. So you pick one thing to learn. Maybe you make you a whole curriculum. I know all the girls are talking about curriculums, but you make it a curriculum and you research that thing for the quarter. Around this time is getting ready to become open enrollment. Have you learned about your health insurance? Can you research and look at what your company is saying about how certain coverages, things are happening on certain things, and applying that to whenever you do have open enrollment, you're able to pick the right plan for you. So it's like your focus builds habits. And I know that we are in a season or a series of hacks, viral hacks. But how do you take that hack to become a habit? That's the key, especially with Learning Day. And at the end is day number 5 is a month end review. Oftentimes you see people talking about putting their budgets into place on the first of the month. That's cute. But on the last week of the month, I want you to look back to your wins, your messes, your plans for not only what's coming up in the month, but what you did the month before you currently in. The reason why you celebrate the progress and the small wins, but you also look for improvement. And that's what this is about. Is that oftentimes people just go into a new month, but you don't see what you did last month. You don't run the play. You don't go back and watch the film. You don't go back to see, well, I overspent on this right here. And I know I'm supposed to spend on this. Did I check and if it was on groceries? Did I check and make a list with ChatGPT? Did I check the groceries? Did I find out a store or was I'm just paying for convenience? These are certain things that you need to do whenever you're debriefing from the month that you're currently in to prepare for the month that's coming in. So that's the thing, is that this is about reflections and recorrections. And habits don't stick, but your money and your discipline grow like a well-trained body. I think we're going to keep this gym analogy throughout this because it's true. It's that whenever we're making a budget, you need to know, did it work? What didn't work? What didn't I do? You know how companies have IPOs and they're about valuations. Did I blow out the valuation when it comes to how much I'm going to spend on this key area? Or did I become the leak? Or did we see that it was inflation or self-inflation? Those are things that you need to do within that last week of the month. So if you know that the first falls on a Friday, that Monday, that Sunday, you need to be having a Monday date to do this actually at the same time. You can be calculating. And then if you're going through and doing tracking your money every 2 weeks, by the time you get to the end of the month, you already see and make notes that, hey, this is what happened throughout the month. So this is what I need to prepare for. Whenever you are seeing, I love sports. So whenever you're watching the sports happen, that you're able to say, hey, I made a note that in the corner pocket, like on the 15th, I might need to dial it back enough because I don't have a check on. It's about being critical about what's going on with your currency. So that's why I would say when it comes to your month-end review is that you review where you are in and you prepare for what's coming in. Especially this time of year, you have the holidays. The holidays are going to be key for you to see, I need to start putting money into a higher savings account now, child. Now I need to start saving $50. I was saving $25. I might need to punch it up because I got other people I have to buy for. So that's what this day is critical for you in your money. Now, let's go ahead and close this up and build up what you're going to do with your bucks with these 5 days. So there you have it. Those 5 key days, and you can add some more. I'll probably add another video if you need me to. Just let me know. That will help you train your wallet like a pro. Consistency is key, and like the gym, small daily habits or even weekly habits will build and create habits into a whole financial wellness when it comes to you and your wallet. So it's like for you to have long-term goals, you have to start with the short-term builds. So that's the thing, is that if you want extra support along the way, you can tap in with me for either making the math budget done for you, or you can look into my Ask Me Anything services. So those 2 services are key. But for you to start with your money, you need to tap in to know, what is your money GPS say? What is your pulse say? What is going on with your month end? What is going on with your learners or earners day? How are you actually coming in collectively reviewing from the month and putting things in line for the month to come in? So those things are key. And we can talk through the numbers for you to become unnumb, but it's about you knowing, so you know what's going on. The thing is that even if you work with a money coach, a financial advisor, a financial planner, or you're strolling social media, it's about taking what you're hearing, but also building out and educating yourself as you go along the way, because people are talking at you, but not too many people work with you or educate you on how to handle the money that you have. And honestly, it is your wallet. While you can get a money manager or somebody help you and pay your bills and all that stuff, I want you to be like a billionaire and millionaire and learn the money that you have now before you grow the money that you will have later. That is the key thing. And I believe that my services offer that. But a part of that service is that you have to do the work before you even talk to me. Before you're like, okay, now I've gotten to this point, I need a Nadia. Now I gotten to this point, I need more education. Now I gotten to this point or whatever. Maybe it's you just righting the ship. It is what it is. But the thing is, though, is that it's about you growing. You didn't get to where you were overnight, so you're not going to get to where you would love to get overnight. So you just have to take time, give yourself and grind it out. Understand your insights, build your implementation, and see the increase. So, but don't forget to sign up for my newsletters to not only get a freebie, you get to pick a freebie, but you also get to understand what's going on with your funds based upon what I see strolling on social media, strolling on the headlines, but also strolling what comes into my inbox. If you have any direct questions, you don't want to put it down in the bank or whatever we call it in the comment section, you can DM me on any form of social media. But the thing is about you able to get more understanding on what's going on with your money. And those emails come now that we're going to have them 3 times a week versus 4. Gotta give me a little get the time back. So at least 3 times a week, you're going to get an email from me. And the question I have for you to close this sucker on out is, out of those 5 days that we talked about the with your money and building the foundations, do you think that what's just going to have the biggest impact for you in your wallet? Let me know for the month. And then if you come back in a month or so after you watch this video, let me know also what has improved. Do you need more context about? I have going to link the original post that I had over on Instagram about these days to give you more context on why it's important to build and compound with the small while you grow your bigger into your habits, into how your money stacks up. But I will link that down in the comments or the description box below for you to know where to go. But let me know, out of those 5 days that we talked about briefly, which one sticks out for you that you know you can at least start with? Can you do all 5? Or you can just pick one and grow and keep like a little checklist. I have many checklists in my phone. But let me know which one works for you. And we'll talk about it in the comments. But don't forget to follow me for more. Share this video with someone that needs to get their money together, no matter the month, the day, the hour, whatever. And then also don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter and stay funded. That's it.